Hi, my name is Simran Batla, and this is my science fair project, The Effects of Plantago Psyllium on Gut Health and Blood Plasma Glucose. Before I start, I just want to apologize because my microphone is not working correctly, so hopefully the sound should be fine for this whole video. So firstly, what is Plantago Psyllium? It's a soluble fiber and it's made from the seeds and husk of this plant called Plantago vata, grown in Asia and Africa. And the traditional use of this plant was as a laxative, and that's because when it comes into contact with water, it swells up into a larger mass, and then this stimulates your digestive system and speeds up the process of digestion. So why this project? Because I was actually sick last year, and so I ate Plantago Psyllium for a few days. And after those few days, I noticed that not only was I cured of my digestive problems, but my skin was clearer, I had lost some weight, and overall just felt a lot better. So I started researching this plant and seeing um, the undiscovered potential applications that it has. And it has many amino acids, polysaccharides, fatty acids, and due to these properties, people think that it could really help with issues such as high blood sugar, bad gut health, colon cancer, digestive problems. And so I realized that there would be a lot of benefits of this, and so I wanted to find the optimal way to consume it and if it could actually help with these gut health problems, blood sugar, and obesity. And these are all of my materials. So let's get into the methodology. So the first step was to gather my participants, and I had a sample pool of 15 participants across varying age, gender, and some participants had diabetes or were pre-diabetic. And so here's the breakdown. And then they were all given a survey where they had to fill out all of that information. And so they all received testing kits, which contained 8 tablespoons of the Psyllium Plantago powder, 3 oropharyngeal swabs, and then a stool chart for reference, and then data tables to fill out all the information. And then here is the instructions they had to follow. So the first day, they had to take initial measurements, and then every day they had to eat a tablespoon of Psyllium Plantago powder. And then day 4, they took midweek measurements, and these measurements were weight, blood glucose test, or pharyngeal swab. And then on day 7, they took final measurements of the same thing. And this is how you consume it. So it's a powder, and so it can be eaten with virtually any food or drink. But for this experiment, to keep everything controlled, they could either mix it in yogurt or put it in water. And every day they ate a tablespoon. And so the first test was the blood sugar test, for which I used a glucometer. And this is a pretty standard procedure for if anybody has diabetes. It's very simple. But because I was only used one glucometer, I had to keep a lot of caution because I didn't want to contaminate lancets and give anybody any kind of diseases. And so basically, you just take a single-use lancet, you prick the participant's finger, and put the drop of blood onto the testing strip, which is inserted into the glucometer, and it takes a few seconds and you should get results. And then after the test, just make sure to turn off the meter and disinfect it with 70% isopropyl alcohol, and then make sure that all of the lancets, gloves, strips are disposed of and the patient's finger is bandaged properly. And then the next thing was the oropharyngeal swabs, which were taken 3 times a week, and this was to see how the Psyllium Plantago affects your microbiome. And as I could not, unfortunately, swab the inside of people's guts, I decided to swab their mouths because the microbe in your mouth is linked to that of your gut, and it's very, very similar. And so they did oropharyngeal swabs on the inside of the cheeks and tongue, and then back of throat and tonsil. Once these swabs were collected, in under 24 hours, they had to be transferred onto microscope slides, and 24 hours is so that the sample wouldn't dry out and the microbes wouldn't die. So basically just swabbed it onto the slide. You can see me doing it there. And then placed a drop of dye to make sure that the content was visible. Then it was put onto the microscope, where it took a lot of time and adjustments to view the bacteria and make sure that you weren't viewing any type of epithelial cells or anything like that. And then after that, I just took pictures for all the samples for all the participants. So yeah, let's get into the results. So first we have weight change. Before the results, just note that to keep all the participants' identities anonymous, they were assigned a participant number, and so that's what they will be referred to using. So on average, the participants' weight decreased by around 2 pounds, with a sharper decrease in the first few days and then more level decrease the rest of the week. And those with higher initial weights had more weight loss. Those with healthy weights did still lose weight, but not as much, which does make sense. And participants said that the sample was very filling, like it could be substituted. Instead of eating breakfast, they could just mix this with yogurt and eat that as breakfast, and it would keep them full for many hours, which might be why they lost weight. Um, Overall, it's clear that it is linked to weight loss, but it can't be used to help people lose weight alone. It would need to be paired with better lifestyle choices. And then here we have the blood plasma glucose results. So a star besides the number on the table means that the results were for fasting blood sugar, which basically just means that the participant hadn't eaten for several hours before. However, since I couldn't ask the participants to not eat several days during the week, I just decided to take non-fasting blood sugar levels, which doesn't really make a difference, just the scale needs to be higher. So a healthy fasting blood glucose level would be between 70 and 100, but a healthy non-fasting blood glucose level is between 90 and 125. So just had to take that into account. And so this is where the real magic happens, because as you can see in the beginning of the week, this is the initial day one. The blood glucose is kind of all over the place. Some people have very high. These are the samples that were more in the diabetic or pre-diabetic range, and then some people had very low. But by the end of the week, it all kind of narrows down into that 90 to 125 non-fasting blood sugar range, which is what's healthy. And then one sample to note is this spike that you see here, which was participant 13, who has type 2 diabetes. And he said that his blood sugar is always fluctuating. It can go really high or low, but his went down into that wanted range, which is really good. And I do think that Plantago Psyllium could be really beneficial for those in the pre-diabetic or diabetic range to take along with their other medications, and it could help them control their blood sugar into a healthy range. All right, so now we have gut health. So this is a chart with all of the bacteria that I observed, and you can see the color-coded, the darkness of the red represents the overall microbe content. So you could see it really did increase. This is just visual observation. And then from that point on, I knew that it had increased, but I didn't know if the evolution was positive or negative. So that came down to identifying the specific type of bacteria. So that's what I did. So first thing that was visible was these. And these are epithelial cells, not to be confused with bacteria or microbes. But they're easy to distinguish because they're much bigger and they have a distinct nucleus. So then I got into bacterial observation and identification, which does take a lot of time. So first I kind of broke it down by family using shape, and then I found a database online with different types of gut bacteria, and then I got into identifying them. So there were two main population increases of bacteria. The first one, which was major, this is something called Bacillus coagulans. It's a highly beneficial probiotic bacteria. It's not naturally found in the body. Most of the bacteria in your gut is not naturally found, but it accumulates over time. And a lack of Bacillus coagulans is a major issue for those who have dysbiosis, which just means an offset in your gut microbiome, good or bad. And so many people actually take medication with this Bacillus coagulans, but there are a lot of bad side effects with this specific medication that I'm referencing. And so I believe that actually taking Plantago Psyllium instead of that medication could really help people who have dysbiosis, and they could avoid the negative symptoms that are often associated with that other medicine. And then we have the other one, which is called Streptococcus thermophilus. And this one is really good for inhibiting the growth of pathogenic microorganisms in the gut and also really helps with the immune system. And then here are some images of how the microbial content improve a before and after of one particular participant, and you can tell that it really did increase. Okay. Oh, here we have stool. So I asked the participants to record every day what their stool looked like using the Bristol stool chart. Yeah, very fun. And after taking psyllium for a week, they all noted that their stool was around type 3 or type 4, which is these two, which is what is considered healthy. So yeah, here's an example with a participant who started out on this end of the scale and narrowed down into healthy stool. And then I also asked them if they had any other observations throughout the week with a final survey, and they noted some similar things. So one was that they noted that their tongue was much cleaner. So in the morning, people typically have a whitish film on your tongue. It's called oral thrush. And if this is reduced and your tongue is clearer in the morning, that's a very good sign of gut health and digestion. And another observation was those with acne. I also noted this, which is that those with acne, or even one participant had a lot of back acne, and they said that that condition had really improved throughout the week. All right, so to just summarize it, firstly, many of the participants did experience weight loss. Specifically, it was higher for those who already had higher weights. So this could help people lose weight, but really, if you have a healthy weight, it didn't make much of a difference. The blood glucose was significantly decreased into a healthy range, meaning that this could really help those struggling with type 2 diabetes or have fluctuating or high blood sugar levels. And then next, there was a significant increase in oral microflora, meaning this could really help with those with dysbiosis and bad gut health. And finally, there were improvements with stool, digestion, mouth health, skin condition, and hormones. So, in conclusion, I do think that this would be an excellent additive into your daily lifestyle. All the participants said that it was pretty easy to consume and quick, so it could be an easy addition into your daily life, and it would be incredibly beneficial for weight loss, improving your gut health, reducing blood sugar levels, improving your skin, and of course, improving your digestion. So, that's all. Thank you so much for listening.